All right, we're going to be converting measurements. We're going to be on page 53 and 54. So when you're converting measurements, you did this last year, we are going to be using your purple sheet with all of your measurements, okay? So anytime I say this comes off your purple sheet, these are all ratios, okay? So 1 mile compared to 1,760 yards, that is a ratio. All right, so we're going to be setting up proportions on these. So let's talk about what a unit conversion is, okay? It's going to be an expression that represents the same property as a different unit of measurement. So for example, 1 mile and 1,760 yards are equal to each other. That is the same distance, okay? So on the customary system, you have your whole side on this left side is customary, and then you have your metric on this side. So yesterday we practiced our shortcuts. So all of our metric side, when we were moving our decimal, okay, that was with the metric system that you're going to be doing that. So the customary system of measurement, it contains units for length, okay, which is going to be like your miles, yards, inches. And then you've got capacity, which is like your gallons, quarts, pints. And then you have your weight, which is like your pounds and ounces and tons. So for the metric system, all right, you've got those same categories, but the decimal-based system of measurement, which is really cool, is, so since we have tenths, hundredths, and thousandths as our place value system, we can have ones and zeros. So we have like 1,000, we've got 100, we've got 10, we've got 1,000, we've got 1,000, we've got 1,000. All of these on the metric system, we can move our decimal because of all those ones and zeros. All right. So it's going to be a lot of powers of 10. All right. So the conversion factor is a rate or a ratio. All right. So what we talked about on our purple sheet, that was a ratio. That is going to be equal to 1. So like, for example, 1 pound is going to equal 16 ounces. All right. So a conversion factor can be written using a fraction notation. So that right there is the ratio that I was talking about, okay? So we can say like 1 pound is 16 ounces. I got that off my purple sheet. So we could say 1 pound, and again, you can put LB as your abbreviation. We're not always gonna write it out, is 16 ounces. And depending on how they give, what they give me first, like do they give me ounces or do they give me pounds, you might also say 16 ounces is equal to 1 pound. So you can write your conversion factors, you can write your ratios like this within your proportion. All right, so if we look this up on our purple sheet, 1 yard is going to equal 3 feet. So we might say 1 yard equal to 3 feet and write it like a ratio like this, or we can write our ratio like this. So what you're going to do is you are going to write an equivalent ratio, all right, an equivalent ratio. Remember, when you have two equivalent ratios, that's a proportion. Okay, so you're going to write an equivalent ratio to find the conversion. So you can use the customary or the metric system. Okay, you can use either side of your purple sheet when you are converting. So here we have miles. I always want you to underline or box or whatever the two things that we're talking about. All right, so I can put feet over miles or miles over feet. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and put miles over feet and miles over feet. All right, right here I always do what's off the purple sheet first. So I'm going to look up miles and feet right here. Okay, so miles to feet. All right, this is not on the same line. So what happens is, and you did this yet last year, so this is a review. So when you go from miles to feet, you've got to go through yards. Okay, so if 1 mile is this many yards and each yard has this, you're going to multiply these in order to figure out how many feet in a mile. So 1,760 times 3. So 1,760 times 3 is going to be 5,280. All right. So this is going to be off of your purple sheet. So we're going to say 1 mile is 5,280 feet. So how many miles are in 7,920 feet? All right, so we're going to cross multiply. This one's a little bit challenging. So I'm going to use a calculator. All right, yours should not be this challenging on your homework. So we've got 7,920 times 1 divided by 5,280. So we're going to get 1.5. So it's 1.5 miles is that many feet. All right, and you could have easily done this long division as well. So we've got 1.5 miles, 1.5 miles. So how many cups are in 4.25 gallons? Okay, so we're going to say cups in gallons. So this is going to come off my purple sheet. So I'm going to look and go, okay, I've got gallons to cups. It's not on one line. So if I have to go all the way down here, I'm going to multiply all of these. So 4 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So there are 16 cups in 1 gallon. How many cups in 4.25 gallons? All right, so again, we're going to cross multiply. We've been doing this for over a week now. So we're going to solve this proportion. We're going to cross multiply, and we're going to get 68. So there are 68 cups in 4.25 gallons. All right, so let's look on page 54. So we'll come back to number 1. So on this one, it says an office building floor has a perimeter of 5,550 feet. What is the perimeter of the floor in yards? All right, so you can put your purple sheet unit conversion here, or you can put it here. It really does not matter, okay? And so I'm going to show you that it doesn't. So we have 5,550 feet, and then we want to go to yards. So feet over yards. So there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So if we cross multiply and divide, we're going to get 1,850 yards. Okay. Number 3, you have something that weighs 32 pounds, and you want to know how many ounces that is. So we're going to get this from our purple sheet. There are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So we're going to cross multiply. 32 times 16 is, whoa, that's not right. 32 times 16 is going to be 512 ounces.